Please say the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadkamlam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagara Raghunathanvitam Satam Sajivam Sadhuvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanusate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Mukam karoti vachalam pancham tangayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dina Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Gurve Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining. Very, very grateful to each and every one of you. We are almost nearing the end of chapter 3. I'm hoping I cannot finish today for sure, but maybe next time or after that we can finish. I will not go into review of the chapter 3 again because please listen to the last classes. I'll just review the last 3 verses that we read. So we'll just read the translations and a quick overview of the last few verses, okay? So basically, Krishna is talking about the correct mood of working. This chapter is called Karma Yoga, which means working in the spirit of service or spirit of detachment. Okay, work with detachment, with the spirit of tyag, in a Krishna conscious way, in a Krishna centered way, not in a self-centered way. So Krishna is saying in verse 27, this is a very important verse. We tried to memorize it a little bit last time. Krishna is saying, the spirit soul bewildered by the influence of false ego thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the 3 modes of material nature. So here Krishna is saying that ignorant people that are in the false ego, we took the definition of false ego. False ego means bodily conception of life. To think that I'm this body is the false ego. Okay, true ego is to understand that I'm the servant of the Lord. But to think I'm this body, I'm the master, I'm the proprietor, I'm the enjoyer, I am the Lord, I should be getting the results, I'm entitled to the results, I'm entitled to the activity, that is the false ego. So Krishna is saying ignorant people that are influenced by false ego, meaning they think they are this body, they think that they are the doer of the activities because they see the body doing the activities, so they think I am doing the activities. But actually, the activities are being carried out by the 3 modes of nature. Here we took the concept of 3 doers, that there are 3 doers. The soul desires, the Lord sanctions that desire, and the 3 modes of material nature, meaning Prakriti, facilitates or gives resources to fulfill that desire. Okay, so all that soul does is desires. And then Prakriti, after the Lord sanctions, the Paramatma sanctions, then Prakriti gives us the required resources, the facilities, the skill set, the talent, the time, the people that will help us then perform that activity. So we should not take credit. We should not be in this doership mentality where we think that I am the doer, so I should enjoy the results. Okay. So we should not get too puffed up when something goes well, and we should not get too depressed when something does not go well, because it was not completely up to us. We are not the complete doer. There are other factors, other people, other variables involved in getting that action done. So since there are other doers also involved, you can neither take full credit for that activity, you cannot take cannot enjoy that result yourself, nor can you become very depressed or morose when that activity does not fructify as per your desire. Okay, because Lord has to sanction and Prakriti has to facilitate. If those are not complying, if Lord is not sanctioning, the action will not happen. So this was verse 27. Then in 28 and 29, Krishna is saying that people that are in knowledge of absolute truth do not engage in the senses and sense gratification, knowing the difference between work and devotion and work for fruitive results. Okay, so Krishna is saying, but so this is not the state with knowledgeable or learned people. Learned men, wise men, know the difference between such work, materialistic work, where you are attached to the results, attached to the work, okay, versus learned people that are not attached to the fruitive work. They work in devotion, they work in sacrifice, in service. Okay, so they are not attached to so much sense gratification or personal gains. They do not work for those means, they do not work for that end. Okay, and the third thing he's saying is, but ignorant people work like that. Ignorant people work for sense gratification. They work for fruitive gains, personal gains, fruitive benefits. So they are very attached. They are very entangled. They are very absorbed in the worldly activities. So learned men should not unsettle them. Okay. So first Krishna told us the situation of ignorant people. Then he told us the situation of learned people. Then he said learned people, wise people should not unsettle the ignorant people. Let them do their work. At least they are working. At least they're doing their prescribed duties, even though they are very attached to the results, even though their intention is to please themselves, even though they're not doing it in the mood of service. Still, don't unsettle them. Let them stay engaged in their prescribed duties. By gradually staying engaged in prescribed duties, they will gradually become detached. They will gradually become knowledgeable also. Okay? Because performing these duties is more important. So it's more important that they stay engaged right now. Okay. Now, if you remember, we took the concept of guna karma. Okay. Good. We will just continue on this concept today. Okay. The concept of guna karma. Does anyone remember? Can anybody, before I move forward, whoever was in the last class, would they like to summarize this concept of guna karma? Is Pooja Mataji here? Chetan Prabhu, Ravi Prabhu, Pooja Mataji, or my mom. Anybody, any of these people would like to. What does guna, we talked about guna karma. Please tell me, what does that mean? I'm going to sit quietly and wait until somebody responds. We discuss this in detail.
Hare Krishna Mataji, may I?
Yes, Prabhu, please.
So the guna karma here refers to the guna of the nature which we operate on. So there are three gunas named as mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. Satogun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. And all these gunas operates on us throughout the day, throughout our life. And our goal is to go beyond this guna called gunatit, so that we can achieve the ultimate goal of our life, which is called Krishna Prem. Hare Krishna.
But what is guna? So we talked about this last time. In these three verses, let me show you again. In these three verses, Krishna uses this word, guna karma. So for example, gunai karmani sarvasha. So based on our discussion, I know, so you're saying from your understanding, so again, guna karma vibhagayo. And then he said, guna karmasu. So you see this word keeps repeating.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Last time also on whiteboard, we discussed this concept. So your understanding is perfect about gunas.
Yeah, yes, I think I missed the class and okay, so
what I mean is, so you said perfectly, guna means the three gunas. And three gunas give us our qualities. Is that correct? We also discussed that, how three gunas are responsible for our qualities. Some people are more in mode of goodness, more in mode of passion, more in mode of ignorance. And throughout life, throughout day, this keeps fluctuating, right? So sometimes we are very creative, some people are very athletic, some people are very ambitious, some people are want to keep working, some people want to enjoy more, like that. The gunas decide a person's nature, like you said, right? This also decides various activities they perform in their life, various hobbies, various skill sets they acquire, right? So some people,
Yes.
let's say they are in mode of goodness, they will have their hobbies will reflect that. Like they will be very, their hobbies will be very constructive, very uh, like they will be into reading or painting or, you know, sober type of qualities, sober type of activities and hobbies they will undertake. So their nature, their personality, their talents, their hobbies, their qualities will reflect which guna is more prominent in them. Right?
Correct.
So accordingly, they will engage in some karma. That is what guna karma means. That accordingly, they will engage in some action, which means
Okay.
basically their prescribed duty when we are born in this world, we are born with some with you know inherent gunas. Certain
Correct.
gunas are
Swabhav. Yeah.
yes, exactly. Swabhav is the word. So we have
Yes.
certain swabhav which is influenced by what mode is more predominant in us. Hmm?
Correct. Yes.
Acco-
Yes.
Accordingly, we take up those activities. Hmm? So we take up a certain
Yes.
prescribed duty, like somebody who likes to, let's say, study a lot will go into, let's say, become a lawyer or teacher or a doctor. Somebody who's very passionate in mode of passion, they may be very ambitious. They want to make money. They want to. They're very big into leading. So they can lead people. They will go into administrative jobs or business. They will become a businessman. Some may be very um, you know, like in mode of ignorance, they will go into, I don't know, I don't know, so, some accordingly they'll go into certain jobs like that. Let's say,
राक्षसी राक्षसी काम करेगा माता जी, किलिंग, चोरी करना,
हाँ,
ये करना. हाँ, the
slaughterhouse.
terrorist, yeah, those kind of somehow people will get to that one. राक्षसी काम जो है, हाँ.
राइट.
Yes.
तो ये है, इसमें कृष्णा ने बोला है in these three verses that we have, according to our gunas, according to the three gunas of material nature, which everybody, because we have gotten a body, and body is controlled by these three gunas. So we have been given a certain swabhav, certain nature, certain propensity, certain tendencies, proclivities, you can, I'm just using different words, whichever word resonates with you, you can pick that word. And accordingly you will engage in some actions. Not only prescribed duty will be decided by it, but throughout the day certain actions will be जैसे कि if I'm feeling very active, let's say in the morning, so then I will go for I'll go for a run, I will get my work done, because I'm in, you know, let's say I'm feeling in mode of passion, I will be very active in the daytime, I will be fulfilling a lot of my goals and my to-do list. In the very early morning, I may be in the mode of goodness, so I may I can sit down soberly, I'm not very energetic, so but I'm in mode of goodness, I'm in a very steady sober state, so I will sit down to chant Lord's name or to do some deity worship, or I may do some yoga, right? Sitting silently, things, or like I do journaling, things like that. So some sober, steady, sedate activities I will take up. Later in the day, you become very much in mode of ignorance. You may be angry, you may be anxious, you may be frustrated, you may just want to sleep, right? So you will take a nap, or you will, things like that. So throughout the day, also our activities are decided by the gunas that are controlling us. And throughout the life also, like in youth, young people are very active, energetic, they're very ambitious, so they can take up a lot of, they fulfill a lot of their dreams, lot of their goals in young life. You know, they can study, they can go to schools, colleges, earn degrees, because they're very active and energetic. In the middle ages, people become more sedate, and eventually they come more to mode of goodness in old age, so they are more still, they can sit still, they can hear kathas, they can do more spiritual activities because they're more in mode of goodness. So through the life also, our modes, our gunas keep changing, influence of guna keeps changing. But we also discussed that it is in our control to decide which guna we allow us to be controlled by. It's like chains. Yeah, these three gunas are like three chains. The mode of goodness is satoguna is like a golden chain. Mode of passion is like a क्या होता है? Silver chain. And mode of ignorance or tamoguna is like a iron chain. So these three chains are controlling us, but mode of passion and ignorance are considered lower modes. So we can decide that we will be controlled more by the mode of goodness. So we can try that in our life throughout the day, we stay in the mode of goodness as much as possible. So with very deliberate, very intentionally, try to stay in mode of goodness as much as possible. Try to do those activities. Try to highlight those type of talents, engage in those type of hobbies, those type of prescribed duties that are more in mode of goodness. Coming to prescribed duty, okay, let's understand that definition also before we read further. Prescribed duty word keeps coming up in Bhagavad Gita, and this is what this chapter is about. Prescribed duty is basically a guna karma, an action that is decided by your gunas, you can call guna karma, I will now call swabhav. It is decided by your swabhav or by your nature, depending on what tendencies, what skill set you want to develop, right? What gunas you're controlled by. So that type of duty you will take up in life. So prescribed duty is sort of a materialistic duty or responsibility in this world, a material work that you engage in. Okay, this is a very big part of your life. You can call it work, you can call it job, you can call it profession, you can call it whatever the main function that you have as a embodied soul. Having taken this body, you have to engage that body in some work, because body is controlled by gunas. If you do not engage that body in some work, Krishna said that in rest of the chapter, then it will be very restless. Okay, so the body is controlled by the gunas, and the gunas decide your swabhav. So it is better that you engage that swabhav in some kind of work. Okay, that becomes your prescribed duty. Okay, so I at the very end of the class, I will discuss on which duty we should take up, how we can guide our children on which duty or which work or which job, which profession they should take up, how we can guide them. Krishna will also talk about it. But I just wanted to clarify this term. Prescribed duty is like a work or a very big part of our material life in which we engage our body, our predominant guna, or you can say our swabhav, in some action. Okay. Now with that understanding, let's read the next verse. So far Krishna said that let the people stay engaged in whatever work they are doing. We should work with the spirit of Krishna consciousness, but let other people stay. They are attached, they are entangled with the results. Let them stay. Keep working like that. Okay. I'm sorry. I have to clarify one more thing here before we go further. Now Krishna will talk about work in Krishna. So you are engaged in some prescribed duties, some kind of work. But Krishna says, I want you to work in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness also means that I want you to work in service. I want you to work with the spirit of detachment, with the spirit of tyag. Okay. Also known as karma yoga. I want you to work in yoga. Okay. So karma yoga is a very different mindset. In this mindset, the person is neither attached to the results of the work, nor they are attached to the Nishkam Karma Yogi is attached to the work. They are attached to the work, but not the results. Is this point clear? That they are attached.
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, you want to share something? I always like to hear your
No, but
realization if you have from last class. Because I'm very quickly trying to summarize for the people that were not there last time. Okay, so then let's read about this. So work in Krishna consciousness or work with the spirit of detachment. What does that look like? Okay, this is a very famous verse, important verse, memory verse. So let's read this verse very carefully. Number 30. Mai sarvani karmani.
Mai sarvani karmani.
Sanyasya adhyatma chetasa.
Sannyasa adhyatma chetasa.
Nirashir nirmamo bhutva.
Nirashir
Nirmamo
bhutva.
Yudhyasva vigajvara.
Yudhyasva vigajvara.
Let me show you Sanskrit, then we'll recite it a couple more times because this is important. Mai means unto me. Sarvani karmani sanyasya. Offer the results of all your work. Sannyas here means offer. Sarvani karmani means all your work. So give me the work and its results. Okay. Offer all the results and all your work unto me. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya. Krishna is saying offer the work and its results to me. Adhyatma chetasa. Adhyatma chetasa means work in this consciousness, adhyatmic consciousness. Adhyatma means Krishna consciousness, spiritual consciousness, God consciousness. Okay. So don't do that. Abhi we talked about materialistic work, right? Where a person just works according to their swabhav, but they're very attached to the results and to the work. They think they are entitled to the results. They think they are entitled to the work. They think they are the enjoyer of that activity because they think they are the doer. So Krishna is saying, don't work like that. Learned people are in God consciousness, adhyatma chetasa. They do not work in doership mentality. Give up that doership mentality. Work in this consciousness where you offer all the results and work unto me, unto me. Nirashir. Nirashir means without any asha. Asha meaning without any gains. Asha matlab not becoming hopeless. But asha means hope for materialistic gains, personal gains, some selfish benefits, uh, some profits for self, for me. Mera kya? Mere liye kya? What is in it for me? Give up that mentality. Okay, nirashir means hope becoming materialistically hopeless, meaning don't have material hopes, don't work just for money, don't work just for fame, don't just work for name or followers or position, okay, or status. Give up those materialistic hopes. Work for me, my, unto me. Nirmamo means to think that this is mine. Okay, don't think that this is yours. Mine here does not refer to Krishna. Mine here refers to me. Okay, I think this is mine. Okay, ki mera. Mam means mine. Nirmamo. Do not become possessive about it. Okay, without becoming possessive. Don't think that you are the owner or you are the proprietor of that results. I am the enjoyer. I am the owner of that results. Even though you are doing the work, I am the owner, the enjoyer of that results. Okay. Yudhya swa vigat jwara. In that mood, fight vigat jwara. Jwara means fever. ज्वर हिंदी में बोलते हैं fever. So fever यहाँ पे मतलब है कि this materialistic fever. Actually, materialistic fever, Prabhupada has called it laziness, lethargic. So जब fever होता है जब तो person becomes lethargic actually, right? Person becomes very fatigued. So materialistic fever actually makes you very fatigued. So Krishna is saying, don't have that type of laziness. Okay. Fight actively. Become energetic in my service. Okay. Become energetic without laziness. So very, very active, very energetic, very efficient, very diligent in my service. Okay. Get up and fight. Yudhyasva. Get up and fight for me. Okay. So now let's recite it couple more times. So Krishna is, this is the summum bonum verse of this chapter actually. This is the mood of Krishna consciousness. This is the consciousness which we have to develop while doing any kind of work, when any kind of prescribed duty, whether it's your work, professional work, whether it's your any activity that you are doing actually. You should expand this not only to your professional work, but to your work at home, to your service. Look at everything as service. Service for your loved ones, your friends, your family, your community, your hobbies, your talents, your skills, everything should be offered to Krishna. This is the yajna that we have to do as a grihastha, as a karma yogi. So when we talked about the concept of yajna many verses back, but this is the yajna that we have to do where everything is offered in service of Krishna. Everything that is given to us by Krishna, whether it's our body, whether it's our resources, our loved ones, our house, our wealth, our country, our community, is the property of Krishna and should be used in service of Krishna. Only then it has the correct use. If you remember yesterday, we read in Chaturshloki's second verse, if you use anything separate from me, if you take anything independent of me, separate from me, if you use this world, its people, its resources, God given things separate from God, then you are in Maya. But the same thing becomes spiritual, adhyatmic, if you connect everything to me. So this is the spirit of Krishna conscious work. Okay, not self-centered, not for you, but offering it unto me. Sanyasya, offer it. Sanyas le lo usse, detach, tyag kar do uska. Like that. So let's recite it couple times. Mai sarvani karmani
Mai sarvani karmani
sanyasya adhyatma chetasa
Sanyasa
adhyatma
Chetasa
nirashir nirmamo bhutva
Nirashir Nirmamo
Bhutva
Bhutva
yudyasva vigachvara
Yudyasva
Vigatjvara.
Vigatjvara.
Once more, we can recite it together. Please try to commit it to your memory if possible. Mai sarvani karmani
Mai Sarvani Karmani
sanyasya adhyatma sanyasya adhyatma chetasa
Chetasa
nirashir
Nirasir
nirmamo
Nirmamo Bhutva
bhutva nirashir
Nirasir
nirmamo
Nirmamo
bhutva
Yudyasva
yudyasva vigajvara.
Vigajvara.
So if for Arjun it's Yuddha, but for us also, whatever we are doing is Yuddha only. So Yuddha or battle refers to battle of our life. We are just struggling in this material existence. All the activities we are doing is a battle only. From cooking food, maintaining your body, taking care of your loved ones, maintaining your home, maintaining your property, whatever you're doing, it's a battle. It's a struggle for existence. Work. So it's not just workplace like professional work. It does ऐसा नहीं कोई बोल सकता कि does not apply to, let's say, a housewife. Of course it applies to every single person, because nobody is inactive. Soul is not inactive. That's what Krishna, very beginning of chapter 3, Krishna mentioned that soul is very active, and it has been given this, that's why it has been given this body and certain nature, and it has to utilize the nature, the gunas, the influence on this body, and use that body for various activities. Now soul has to explore what gunas it has been given and accordingly engage that body in different services. Okay, so we have to explore what gunas are controlling me, and how can I engage this body, these gunas, in service of the Lord. I've been given this body anyways. This is a bad bargain. I should not have accepted this body. But now that I have been given this body, let's make good of a bad bargain. Let's make use of a bad bargain and use this body in the service.
May I say something, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Mataji, you said we should always strive to work in the Krishna consciousness. All the work should be done unto me. I'm not the doer, and he's the enjoyer of all the results or the work I'm doing. But we can, this is my personal thing, that we can start the work with this consciousness, with this mentality, but it's hard to keep up when you are actually in the work, and you tend to forget that with which consciousness or mentality did you take up the work, and you become so engrossed in the work that you tend to forget all this. I don't know how to put it, but how to overcome this, because you cannot remember this Krishna consciousness mentality, like to keep up throughout the work.
So, Mataji, let me clarify something. So, when you are engaged in that work, you have to be fully absorbed and engrossed in it. It doesn't mean that
Yes.
you have to keep thinking of Krishna like that. That's not what we are saying. That's what I clarified yesterday also when one of the questions was asked. It doesn't mean the work has to be done according to the demands of that work. That so let's say I'm operating. I do a lot of surgery. I'm operating in the operating room. doesn't mean I'm thinking of Krishna. I'm doing that work with full focus, with full engrossment, with full absorption. And that has come to me from this previous understanding that Krishna wants me to work with full absorption, with full engagement. When Arjun is fighting the war, he's not just thinking of Krishna, कि उसको नाम भजन करना है दिमाग में या उसको DTs को उसके बारे में सोचना है. He's thinking about where to shoot my next arrow. What is my next target? Who's the next soldier, next person I can kill? What is the best battle strategy? So he's focusing on the battle strategy. So a lot of times we get confused like this. We have to develop this mindset. When we are working, we are working. We are fully giving in to the demands of that job. But then when something happens, for example, somebody tells you, you know, Pooja, you did not get a bonus this year. Because for whatever reason, you could not, we did not make enough money in our company, you did not get a bonus. So then you don't need to become dismal or morose, because you have to remind yourself, hey, this is my service, I'm not doing this work for that bonus. This is how you have to, okay. When somebody complains to you, why did you not do this work properly, and you feel provoked, right? Your boss complains to you. So then you have to again ground yourself. I'm doing this as a service to Krishna. Let me take this feedback, not as a provocation, but take this feedback in the spirit that it is intended to be. I should fix my work. If my boss is telling me that I made these mistakes, I should not become provoked by it. But that means my service needs to be improved. So let me see what improvement is needed. Somebody who's attached to the in a doership mentality or in false ego will become provoked. They will also become very depressed that they did not get any bonus, or so
Yes.
so in that spirit. But the demands of the work has to be fulfilled but they have to be taken on responsibly, and with due diligence. You have to do your work, you have to focus on it, concentrate, and do not deviate from what you're doing.
Right.
Now, in between, if you have time, you can, yes, think of Krishna, you can chant, you can have kirtan playing, but that's not the mood of this. That's not what we are saying here. We
Right,
are
Mataji,
saying
I
to do
got it
your work
now.
with the spirit of service. Okay.
Yes,
Yes, Ravi
yes.
Prabhu
I was
sharing.
I was just trying to enact, like trying to be in the shoes, like how does it feel like, or how does it look like actually? Because I sometimes take up the work like with keeping Krishna in the mind, like okay, I'm doing this and with an intention of that in service or something. This is not means my and I'm not the enjoyer or the for my own sense gratification, and then I just keep engrossed in the work and I start doing it, and once I had fully done it, I barely remember Krishna or anything like that. But
That's okay. You are working. That's okay. You are giving your full mind, body intelligence, body intelligence, words, everything to service of Krishna. So you are serving Krishna. It does not mean that you have to um, you, you have to think of Krishna at that time. That work is your service to Krishna. So you are serving him. Okay. Uh, so this is, there are two types of duties we have in this world. One is conditional duties, other is constitutional duties. Okay, this word I was going to come to later. Conditional duties are things that we are doing for the maintenance of bodies. Constitutional duties are spiritual duties. Okay, spiritual duties like this class. Now when you are hearing this class, then ऐसा नहीं कि कीर्तन लगाओगे side में. No. When you're hearing this class, you're just hearing this class. It's not like you're going to sit and chant. That's not a service either. When you are
right,
hearing this class, you're going to hear this class properly, right?
amen.
I'm just giving you an example of a spiritual work that can also be done in materialistic way sometimes. So when you are hearing the class, just hear the class. You're going to make notes, you're going to write on your Bhagavad Gita, you're going to ask questions, you're going to highlight your Bhagavad Gita like that. That time you're not going to have kirtan playing or you're going to chant. Otherwise, that's also that's not proper service either. Whatever work you're doing, even if it is a constitutional work like spiritual work, that also you have to do with full focus and absorption. When you're chanting, then also you have to chant properly. Then you're not gonna in the name of chanting you're gonna watch TV, are you? Or you're going to do something else. So that work also has to be done with full focus, with full absorption, with ekaki, vyavasyatmika buddhi, with full focus of the mind. So later on, Krishna says, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yudhyascha. Just remember me and do your work. It doesn't mean you are you following
Right,
my
right, right, Mataji. I was thinking it the way that it should keep up with the Krishna consciousness all the time while you are performing your duty, but it's not like that. You can have the intent, but when you are involved and engrossed, that's how it's usually.
It is a mindset.
It's a mindset.
This is a mindset. You have to change your manosthiti badalni. You have to change your mindset, which is not attached to the work for its results or even to the work itself. It is being done as a sense of responsibility, as a sense of duty towards Krishna. Just for example, a soldier goes to fight in a war. Okay, so he is fighting that war not for the medals he's going to receive. Okay, he may not get any medals. He may die on the battlefield, right? He may be shot down, or he may get medals. He doesn't know. But or he may come back and nobody even recognizes that he fought in the battle. Nobody may even pat his shoulder, nothing. But he is still going to serve his country. He's serving the government that has sanctioned him that duty, that has given him the skill set, the talent, the gun to fight that battle. He's just going to fight that battle for his country. Whether he gets accolades later on, whether he gets martyrdom, whether he gets recognized as a hero, what he does not care about. That's not what he's working for. He's working to serve his country. But let's hear Ravi Prabhu sharing something. Please go ahead, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. You precisely answered Mataji questions very well. I just wanted to add one thing that I have learned and I practice. Like you said, you have to do your work with a fully engrossed in it. That's the first requirement. We can't be doing anything like any distraction by Sattvika Buddhi. But the second thing that I practice and I have learned from that, once you've done your work, if you remember him, say every hour, every 2 hours, just offer it to him like Krishna Arpanamastu. And then if you can't even remember periodically, just end of the work. After 8 hours of your work, just offer all the work to him and then move on. And that is where slowly we will come to the full Krishna consciousness. It's a abhyas, it's a practice. It's not going to happen overnight because our swabhav that we just discussed, Mataji, before, that guna karma, it is with us. That's our very subtle body. So अभ्यास करते रहने से ये काम हो जाएगा और कृष्णा अर्पणम अस्तु बहुत जरूरी है तभी हम लोग का गृहस्थी चलेगा.
Ji Prabhuji, I just want to add, yes, it's often happens with me that at the end of the work or after I'm done, whatever I'm doing, then I came to realization that, okay, I didn't pay much my consciousness towards him while I was doing the work. But and then I offer or whatever I have to say, I like bow down or whatever that this is unto you, whatever I did or whatever I could make this happen because of you, like that. Yes, which what Archanam or Arpanam, whatever you said.
Yes,
So
basically the same thing. Yeah, Mataji. Yeah, the language doesn't matter. Your intention, your consciousness. So you are basically on a very right path. Just continue doing this. Hare
thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji, actually this feeling has started to come to me. And I was sharing this with Nagarjan Prabhu recently, that actually then the work becomes very joyful. It does not typically for most people it's a burden, kaise bolte hain log, thank God it's Friday, TGIF, right? So then actually because this is a service given to you, so you actually look forward to it because service is a very rare position. You were brought up into it, you were trained for it, you were given a skill set by Krishna, you were given resources to train for it, to study for it, and now you have a chance to make a contribution through that service, through that skill set. So if you develop this, just add this yoga aspect, this offering, this yajna aspect, okay, this arpanam aspect, work does not stay a burden. Work actually becomes very joyful, and whatever obstacles come during the course of that duty, during the course of that work, actually are very easily surmountable. They are not difficult. Um, So any harassments and anything become very easy to overcome, because you're doing that as a service. And in the course of, first of all, you treat that as a service, which means what a great privilege, because not everybody is given a privilege to serve Krishna. You've been given this privilege to serve Krishna. So you take this as a privilege to offer some service to Krishna. Okay, make everything a service, whether you say it or not say it. Once you have this consciousness, it will become very inherent part of your life, so that the work, the problems associated with it, the rewards associated with it is neither very burdensome. It's a very nice state of mind, which actually gives a very deep, profound joy, very, very meaningful. It hits hard, it hits home in such a deep way that it is difficult to describe. And you will get that experience. I've been getting that experience now lately, and it starts coming as soon as you start becoming very conscious of this mindset. So just start inculcating this mindset very consciously, very deliberately in your life, in your day-to-day activity, and in your workplace, in your work.
Thank you, Mataji.
Let's read this purport. Would you like to read this, Mataji? The translation and purport.
Ji Mataji. Purport. This verse clearly indicates the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita. Mataji, should I read translation?
Yeah, can you read that also?
Yes. Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your work unto me, with full knowledge of me, without desires for profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight. Purport. This verse clearly indicates the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita. The Lord instructs that one has to become fully Krishna conscious to discharge duties as if in military discipline. Such an injunction may make things a little difficult. Nevertheless, duties must be carried out with dependence on Krishna, because that is the constitutional position of the living entity. The living entity cannot be happy independent of the cooperation of the Supreme Lord, because the eternal constitutional position of the living entity is to become subordinate to the desires of the Lord. Arjuna was therefore ordered by Sri Krishna to fight as if the Lord were his military commander. One has to sacrifice everything for the goodwill of the Supreme Lord, and at the same time discharge prescribed duties without claiming proprietorship. Arjuna did not have to consider the order of the Lord, he had only to execute his order. The Supreme Lord is the soul of all souls. Therefore, one who depends solely and wholly on the Supreme Soul without personal consideration, or in other words, one who is fully Krishna conscious, is called Adhyatma Chetas. Nirash means that one has
Rashi.
to Nirashit. Nirashi means that one has to act on the order of the master but should not expect fruitive results. The cashier may count millions of dollars for his employer, but he does not claim a cent for himself. Similarly, one has to realize that nothing in the world belongs to any individual person, but that everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. That is the real purport of Mai, or unto me. And when one acts in such Krishna consciousness, certainly he does not claim proprietorship over anything. This consciousness is called nirmama, or nothing is mine. And if there is any reluctance to execute such a stern order, which is without consideration of so called kinsmen in the bodily relationship, that reluctance should be thrown off. In this way, one may become Vigata Jwara, or without feverish mentality or lethargy. Everyone, according to his quality and position, has a particular type of work to discharge, and all such duties may be discharged in Krishna consciousness as described above. That will lead one to the path of liberation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I think we have already discussed this. I will not spend more time on it. The only thing I would, every line, like for the first half of this purport, every line is underline worthy. Like you can underline and highlight every single line of this purport, especially in the first half. So please read it very carefully and underline, highlight every single line of the first half of this purport. Exactly what we discussed. Of course, we are discussing from purports only, but still, it hits home. Only thing I would mention is Prabhupada has given another analogy here, another example of the cashier. I don't know where it meant. Somewhere he gave the example of the cashier. So just like a cashier in the bank, he is counting the money on behalf of the customer or on behalf of the bank, right? He cannot claim even a single penny himself. Can he keep, let's say somebody deposited $100,000 in the bank. Can that cashier keep $1 for himself?
No.
No, he will be thrown out of his job. He cannot, right? Because he was sanctioned to just deposit it on behalf of the customer. He cannot keep even a single dollar for himself. If he did, he would lose his job. Similarly, everything is given to us as a service to do. If we try to claim any part of it, then we are not doing a service. We are cheating, we are stealing, and we will not be considered capable of that service, right? We will be disqualified. It's like, so again, coming back to the example of soldier fighting in the war. So the soldier has been sanctioned a gun by the government, by the army, to kill the opposite army, to kill these people in the battlefield. He can only kill those people in the battlefield, right? But if that soldier decides to now bring that gun home, and starts killing his neighbors or starts killing people on his side, or runs away with the gun or something, what will happen to him? He will be court-martialed, right? It's better that he dies on the battlefield. Even if he dies on the battlefield, he will receive martyrdom. Or if he kills the other army, he's victorious, then he will become a hero. He will be rewarded medals and whatnot. Regardless of the result on the battlefield, in the service, whatever result he gets, whether he's victorious or whether he dies, either way, he will be rewarded by the government, right? He will be rewarded by the army that recruited him. But if he ran away with the gun, or if he started shooting that gun willy-nilly, started using it for his own personal agenda, like, okay, I needed to, I hate this neighbor of mine. Let me go, since I have a gun now, let me go kill this person. So then he will be court-martialed. Then the gun will be taken away from him because he's misusing the resources for his personal agenda, which is not what it is meant for. So everything that we have been given has been given to us for service of the Lord. This whole world, everything belongs to him, including our body, our skill sets, our everything can be taken away by him at any moment. So if we try to waste those, try to use them for our self-aggrandizement, in for self-centered, selfish purposes, then those skill sets, those talents, those resources, those facilities, that money, that body, that health, that whatever can be taken away within a second by Lord. So, so you have to use it in service of Krishna. Okay, so same thing like a driver's analogy is given. Driver is driving the car owner, right? The master of the car he's been sanctioned to drive that car on behalf of the car owner. He cannot go willy-nilly to different places and waste the fuel. He's not allowed to do that. He cannot just drive away somewhere himself. He will only go for the jobs assigned to him by the car owner. Either he can drive the car owner, or he will be given some tasks to do. He will do that task and come back. He's not going to willy-nilly go around, use that car for his own personal things. So similarly, we have to do the work, any activity in our life in service to Krishna. And we have to slowly cultivate this service mentality. Like Prabhuji was saying, it will happen gradually, but deliberately start inviting that service mentality in your life. What am I doing? If I'm working, I'm serving these people. These people rely on me for this particular service, for this duration of time in this body, for this time period. I have been given this responsibility. It will not last long because my body is very limited. My skill set is very limited. Only for 5 years, 10 years, maybe I've been given this service. But I better discharge that service with proper intention, proper care, with the mindset that it is intended for. It's intended for service of Krishna. So you're not just serving that person, you're serving the Lord by discharging that service. Let's do next two together. They go together. This is now Krishna is going to say what happens to people that follow this injunction versus what happens to that do not follow. So we'll quickly read this. Ye me matam idam nityam. Ye me madam idam nityam. Anutishtanti manava. Anutishtanti manava. Shraddhavanto na suyanto. Shraddhavanto na suyanto. Muchyante tepi karmabhi. Muchyante tepi karmabhi. So, and let's read the next one also. Ye tva etad abhyasuyanto. Ye tva etad abhyasuyanto. Nanu tishtanti me matam. Nanu tishtanti me matam. Sarvagyana vimudam stan. Sarvagyana vimudam stan. Viddhi nashtan achetasa. Viddhi nashtan achetasa. We'll take these two verses together. So just quickly review the Sanskrit. Me matam means my opinion. Those that follow my injunctions regularly, nityam. So remember, we're talking about regularly following this injunction, daily, every day, multiple times, follow this injunction, okay? Ye me matam idam nityam. Jo ye follow karte hain, nityam, regularly. Anutishtanti means execute this, follow this process. Manava means people, human beings. Shraddhavanto nasuyanto. With faith, without envy. With faith, okay? So have faith that it will work out. Again, like Prabhuji was saying, have faith. It will happen. It will happen gradually. Keep doing it, okay? Daily, nityam, regularly keep doing it. Nasuyanto. So anasuya means without envy. So with anasuyanto means without envy. Meaning, envy means don't think why should Krishna enjoy? Why is he the owner? Why is he the proprietor? It's like saying why is army in charge? Why is commander in charge? Why am I just a soldier? Or why is bank in charge? Why is customer in charge? Why am I just a cashier? Well, that's who you are. You are servant of the Lord. That's your eternal constitutional position. And if we come to understand that position, we come to enjoy and regale in that position, the more joyful and satisfied and happy we will be. Don't run away from it. Embrace that position. Okay, don't be envious of it. Okay, don't be envious of Lord for this position. You are in that position. He's the Lord. You are the servant. Anasuyo. Don't be envious of this instruction. Okay, because people become envious. Why should he be the proprietor, owner? Why should I offer? Why is he saying, Mai sanyasya, mujhe offer karo, main kyun na lu? So don't become envious of that. Muchyante tepi karma bhi. So they become free from all bondage. So if people work like that in this service attitude and execute this process regularly, then without faith and without envy, then they become free from all bondage. Okay, so that's why I was saying, if you work in service, whether you fail or succeed, you will get all glories. You are successful in the eyes of Lord. Okay, just like a soldier, whether he dies or comes home victorious, he will be, either way, he will be considered a hero in the eyes of the country. Similarly, you'll be considered a hero in the eyes of the Lord if you do this with this mentality, with this service attitude. But otherwise, what happens? However, yetva etad means however. Okay, this is Sanskrit way of saying however. Abhyasuyanto. Now, if you are working out of envy, if you become envious, okay, you disregard this injunction, this instruction of the Lord. Okay, you say, nah, I'm not gonna work like this. I'm gonna work for myself, for my name, money, followers, people, everything. I want my mama, not nirmama, mama. I care about me. Nanu tishtanti. So they do not perform me matam, my opinion. They disregard my opinion out of envy. They do not follow it. Okay, they do not carry themselves according to my injunction. Then what happens? Sarva jnana vimudamste. Basically, they're bereft of all knowledge. They are vimuda. They are foolish, right? They're foolish. They do not understand that they are servant. They are trying to become the commander in chief when they're a mere soldier, right? They're trying to become the bank when they're a mere cashier. So Sarva Jnana Vimudamste. It's better that we recognize, have the proper knowledge. But these people are bereft of knowledge. They are Vimuda. They are foolish. Krishna is calling them Vimuda. So when our parents, or our teacher call us rascal, foolish, you are stupid. My teacher will tell me, right? You are Vimuda. So similarly, Krishna being a teacher here is saying that those people are Vimuda. Those people are foolish because they are not understanding what is good for them, what is the real knowledge. They're bereft of all knowledge. Vidhi nashtan achetasa. So without working in Krishna consciousness, they don't know that they will be nasht. Unka ruin ho jayega. They will be all ruined. Okay, they should know they will be ruined if they do not work in proper adhyatma chetasa. If they do not work in spiritual consciousness, if they are a chetasa, they will be ruined. They will be lost. They will be entangled. They will be in bondage. So don't be resentful of my instruction. Just work according to my injunctions. If you're okay, I'm going to skip the purport of these two. Please read these on your own, because we had a long discussion in the beginning. In these two, basically we have discussed, basically Krishna is giving us why we should work in this, why we should follow this instruction. If we don't, we will be ruined. Okay. So, and don't be envious, don't be resentful. This is the principle. We should follow the principle. Let's go to 33. Sorry, not 33. Which one? Ah, 33. Let's do 33. Sadrisham cheshtate swasya. Sadrisham cheshtate swasya. Prakriter jnanavanapi. Prakriter jnanavanapi. Prakritim yanti bhutani. Prakritim yanti bhutani. Nigraha kim karishyati. Nigraha kim karishyati. This is important. So Krishna is saying, even knowledgeable people, Gyanvan api, meaning knowledgeable or learned people, okay, so people that have this knowledge, they know their nature, they understand they are servant of the Lord, even they act according to their own nature, matlab according to the prakriti, according to the guna. Remember, according to the guna karma, according to whatever prakriti has, guna has been given to them, they use those, okay? Even though they know they are servants of the Lord, they still work in this world according to their nature, okay? For everyone, prakritim yanti bhutani, everyone, all the living entities are supposed to follow the nature they have acquired, okay? Nigraham kim karishyati. Now Krishna is asking a question here. Kim karishyati, like it's a rhetorical question. He's saying nigraha, meaning suppressing our nature. What will that achieve? Okay, what will it achieve to artificially suppress or repress the nature that we have acquired? So this brings us back to our very first point, which we talked about, the guna karma, that according to the three modes of the prakriti, we have acquired certain nature, certain swabhav. Even learned people who know this science, okay, who know the spiritual science, the science of Krishna consciousness, they know their position as servant of the Lord, they know that they should engage these gunas, this particular swabhav, this nature of the body, in certain work, okay? Because we should not artificially try to suppress this nature. What will suppression or repression achieve? Okay, artificially suppress karne ko bolte hain repress karna. What will that achieve? So slowly you should get detached, not that you should artificially try to suppress the three gunas or your swabhav. You should not try to suppress it. If somebody has a swabhav to, let's say, study or read, then he should become a teacher, or he should engage that swabhav in some fruitful work, some helpful work, like become a lawyer, become a teacher, become some contribute in some way through that swabhav. He should engage that swabhav. If somebody is more in mode of passion, they like to make money, they like to let's say have sporting ability, then they should become an athlete, or they should set an example for this world by engaging in some kind of welfare business work, or somehow they should serve through that swabhav. They should engage that swabhav. Even though they know they're servant of the Lord, then they should work, but work with the spirit of service, and simultaneously purify that swabhav, purify that nature. Okay, we have been given that nature. It's best to engage that nature, and engaging that nature through service will be the best way to purify it. Okay, so let's read this translation purport. Can somebody read this? Who has not read yet?
Yes, can I start? Can I read?
Yes, please.
Hare Krishna. Even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature. For everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes. What can repression accomplish? Purport. Unless one is situated on the transcendental platform of Krishna consciousness, he cannot get free from the influence of the modes of material nature, as it is confirmed by the Lord in the 7th chapter, 7.14. Therefore, even for the most highly educated person on the mundane plane, it is impossible to get out of entanglement of Maya simply by theoretical knowledge or by separating the soul from the body. There are many so-called spiritualists who were outwardly posed as advanced in the science, but inwardly or privately are completely under particular modes of nature, which they are unable to surpass academically. Academically, one may be very learned, but because of his long association with material nature, he is in bondage. Krishna consciousness helps one to get out of the material entanglement, even though one may be engaged in his prescribed duties in terms of the material existence. Therefore, without being fully in Krishna consciousness, one should not give up his occupational duties. No one should suddenly give up his prescribed duties and become a so-called yogi or transcendentalist artificially. It is better to be situated in one's position and to try to attain Krishna consciousness under superior training. Thus, one may be freed from the clutches of Krishna's Maya.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Okay, so I think this is clear. Even learned people, so no matter how much understanding you have of your constitutional position, constitutional meaning your spiritual position, that you are a servant of the Lord, even then, we are very much in the control of this Prakriti. We have been given this body, which is in the control of the three gunas. So since we have acquired a certain nature because of those three gunas, it's better to engage that nature and gradually purify it. What can repression accomplish? Nigraha kim karishyati. So don't try to organically, gradually, automatically, spontaneously let this detachment happen, purification happen, disentanglement happen. Don't try to artificially break the bondage from three modes. Rather, it's best to engage those three modes in service of the Lord. Okay. So work according to your nature. Now this verse, next one, is actually basically Krishna is going to say that when these people, learned people, are working in this way, okay, just like if, for example, we also know the spiritual science, we are sadhakas, we are practitioners, spiritual practitioners. So we have this understanding that we have to work in service. We are struggling to apply that intention of service in our work, okay? We are trying to detach from the results and from the work itself, right? So we're struggling. But during this struggle, there will be some sense attraction, like there will be some attractions for sense gratification. Okay, so such people can become distracted by sense gratification. So next verse Krishna will tell us that when you are working like this, even though you are learned, okay, you all are, like for example, you all are learned people, but you are purifying your swabhav by engaging in some work. But during the course of that work, there will be a lot of temptations, there will be a lot of attractions or distractions from in the form of sense gratification from this world. Okay, because you've not taken sannyas, you are in this world, you are working, you are a grahast, you go to work. There are so many non-spiritualist, non-devotee people that are going to tempt you, distract you into worldly affairs. So then when you are working in service, remember to control your senses also at the same time. Okay, have a good control, have a good restraint on your senses also. So control your sense gratification through a regulatory process of certain rules and regulations, like follow some kind of discipline. So this is what Krishna will say in the next one. Okay, let's recite this. Indriyasya indriyasya syarthe, indriyasya syarthe, रागद्वेषौ व्यवस्थितौ रागद्वेषौ व्यवस्थितौ तयोर्न वशम् आगच्छेत् तौ हि अस्या परिपन्थिनौ. So Indriya means Indriyasya means the senses, of the senses. Indriyasya arthe, remember Indriya artha word we covered very few months back. Indriya artha means objects of the senses. So for example, for eyes, the object is some good vision. Okay, for ears, some good sound. For tongue, something good to taste. For skin, something good to touch. So the artha means object for that senses. Okay, sense object is called Indriya artha, or it is also called Vishaya. In this verse, इस verse में नहीं use किया गया है, but Vishaya word is also used for sense objects. So Indriya or Indriya artha, the contact of senses with sense objects leads to rag and dvesh, meaning attractions and aversions. Okay. Vyavasthitau, so control these type of attractions and aversions from sense gratification. Vyavasthitau means to very carefully regulate them. Okay. Vyavasthitau means, yes, to regulate it. Tayor na vasham agachet, so the intelligent people do not come under the control of these things. Vasham means control. They do not come under the control of senses and sense objects. Tauhi asya paripanthinau, because these paripanthinau means stumbling blocks. These are the stumbling blocks. These will be an obstacle in your service. So since you are working with the spirit of detachment, a learned person is working in this world according to his svabhav with the spirit of detachment, right? He should be very careful of his senses. He should not give in to the attachments like rag or dvesh, meaning aversions of the senses too much. Okay, don't get swayed by these senses too much, the attractions or the aversions. These can be the stumbling blocks in the path of self-realization. Can somebody read this translation? Okay, then we'll wind up. Just read the translation, please.
Yeah, sure. I'll read it.
Yes.
There are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion because they are stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. Purport. Those who are in...
Hold on, Prabhu. I'm not sure if we have time to read it because it's already 10:30. We started late.
Okay.
Please read it on your own. 30, this is 34, right? 35, I just wanted to give you a sneak peek of that verse. If it's okay, I want to give you a sneak peek of that verse and think about it during this week. Okay. Then we'll cover it next week. Let's recite it. So the last verse is about sense gratification. We know that we have to follow certain discipline. We have discussed this in second chapter in detail, how we should control our senses and we should restrain them. We should follow some do's and don'ts, some rules and restrictions so that senses are not running uncontrolled. Certain things we eat, certain things we don't eat, certain things we should avoid in this world, what we put in our body through our ears, eyes, nose, skin, and mouth, we should be very careful of those things. So since we are trying to stay as much in mode of goodness as possible, we should try to put sattvic things in our body. Very important what kind of association we maintain, what kind of foods we put in our mouth, what kind of music we hear, what kind of books we read, what kind of literature we consume, what kind of movies or TV we watch. All these things are entering through our senses into our body. So basically the verse is saying to regulate that, and senses have some attraction and some aversion to certain things. Be very mindful of what those are, and you can very consciously control those things. So that your service is not hindered. Otherwise, there will be a stumbling block on your service. People become swayed, people become distracted by giving into those sense gratification. So give up certain lower tastes and try to come to the higher taste as much as possible. So please read that one on your own. Let me just give you a sneak peek of this next verse. Very beautiful verse, and we have to spend a lot of time on this. So that's why I want you to think about this next verse. Shreyan swadharmo viguna. Shreyan swadharmo viguna. Paradharmat swa anushtitat. Paradharmat swa anushtitat. Swadharme nidhanam shreya. Swadharme nidhanam shreya. Paradharmo bhayavaha. Paradharmo bhayavaha. In this verse, and this verse is very similar to another verse in chapter 18. Okay, Krishna is saying Shreyan Swadharmo Viguna. Shreya means best, is to perform Swadharma, your own dharma, your own prescribed duty, right? The duty that you have acquired according to your training, according to your gunas, your swabhav. Practice that prescribed duty, it is best. Paradharma swa anushtita. It is better to practice your own prescribed duty viguna, faultily. Even if you do that duty faultily, it is better than to do another's duty perfectly. Okay? Paradharma swa anushtita. Even you can do other person's work perfectly, it's better to do your own work faultily. Swadharme nidhanam shreya. Okay? Destruction in the course of one's own duty is better. Okay? Nidhana matlab nidhan ho jana, destruction ho jana. So destruction, yeah, you can say obstacles, difficulties, tolerating those in swadharma, in your own line, in discharge of your own duties, is shreya, is better than to follow paradharma bhayavaha. It is very dangerous to follow anybody else's path. Okay? Think about this verse, and so look at this. Krishna is saying it is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faultily, than another's duty perfectly. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duty. To follow another's path is dangerous. Okay, let me show you the same verse. He says, very similar verse, he says in 18th chapter, the last chapter, last few verses, he says something similar. So if you look, the first two lines are exactly same. He says, Shreyan swadharmo viguna paradharmat swa anushtitat swabhava niyatam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham. Same thing he's saying. It is better to discharge your own dharma viguna, even though faultily. Paradharma, though, rather than performing somebody else's dharma perfectly. Swabhav niyatam karma. Do your own work according to your own swabhav, niyatam, okay, daily. Do that work daily. Kurvan napnoti kilbisham. And by working in that swabhav, you will never be affected by sinful reactions. Kilbisham matlab sinful reactions. You will not be entangled, you will not get any reactions or sinful reactions. If you work, do the work, struggle. Basically, Krishna is saying, struggling in your own line of work, whatever obstacles, whatever difficulties, harassment, provocations, or even destruction you might fail, but that's the work that has been now given to you as your responsibility, as your duty, as your this is your line of work, this is the skill set that you were trained for, this was what you were authorized for, authorities have declared that you are the one to do this. Better to do that even though faultily, even faultily means even though with difficulty, okay, rather than to just give that up. Like Arjun is now trying to give up his kshatriya work and trying to become a sannyasi, but becoming sannyasi, even though you may be able to do that perfectly, that's not actually that can generate sinful reactions. But even though you are stumbling, having difficulty, falling in your own line of work, you may not be victorious in this war. You may have to suffer a lot of losses. You will for sure kill your grandfather, Bhishma. You will be killing your teachers. You'll be killing so many family members. You'll have a lot of losses. So be prepared to have that destruction, that nidhanam, that losses, that difficulties. It will be heart-wrenching to kill these people on the battlefield. It will not be easy. It's very difficult. But this is your line of work. This is what you were brought up for. This is what you were trained for. This is, people are relying on you to do this work. So this is call of duty, call of action. When a hero is called to do that duty, that action, he better do that because nobody else can do it but him. So if you don't do it and you just start doing, okay, something else is easier for me, it's better for me, okay, today I have to wake up at 5 a.m. and go to my work, see my patients, that's hard for me to wake up at 5 a.m. today, I'm going to become a teacher and go do something else. No, that's not how it works. You cannot just whimsically give up your own work on even though it has some difficulties, some harassment, some problems, some discomforts. You should tolerate those and you will be rewarded for that service, rather than taking somebody else's work for which you may actually get sinful reaction even though you did it perfectly. So but I want you to think about this verse. We'll discuss it in detail next time. I could never get around to the exploring our Swabhav today, but I'll stop. We are way past our time. Today we sang that beautiful song, so I'm thankful for that. We'll continue our discussion next time. Thank you everyone for joining. Any questions, realizations? Anybody would like to share anything? Puja Mataji, Vikash Prabhu, Ramesh Prabhu, Mom, Apni Vedhi, Nagarjun Prabhu. Please share anything that comes to mind. If not, stop.
Thank you, Mataji, so much. Thank you for connecting it back to yesterday's class. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Mataji, for joining. Okay, so if there are no other realizations, we can stop for today. We will discuss more. This is very important topic, working according to your Swabhav, even though with difficulty. And we'll talk about what our work should be like, because a lot of kids are now in, I know that some of you are already pre-med and you know that you're going to be a physician, but still, even within that, there are many layers, like what kind of physician you would become, because there are so many specialities you could choose. And even within, once you choose your specialty, it will, what kind of hours or what kind of job you take, because there are so many options. You can be as busy as you want, or you can keep your work as light as possible. So, and which city you go to, which all, because since everything is a service, how can we connect, how can we make this work, this training that you're receiving right now, to become a very tangible service for you, so that it is a proper service to Krishna, where you're actually serving the community where you are, right? So the work you take up later in your life, in a few years, you are almost at that junction. How will you decide where to go, which city to go, even many things, choosing life partner and so many other things will depend on that. But definitely choosing your work, because we're talking about work. How can that become a very tangible service to Krishna? It should become a service to Krishna, and we have to work in such a way that we're not working like a donkey. We're working in a very fruitful service to Krishna. So we will talk about that hopefully next time. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We'll stop for today. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Jagaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Vancha kalturubhischa kripa sindhave vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna.